With the help of God and in response to the aggression and its continuous crimes and siege, our armed forces carried out the operation of eighth balance of power by striking a number of pivotal military targets that belong to the Saudi enemy, targeting King Khalid base in Riyadh with 4 drones with the model Samad 3, striking military targets in King Abdullah International Airport in Jeddah, as well as targeting Aramco facilities in Jeddah with 4 drones with the model Samad 2, striking different military targets in the areas of Abha, Jazan, and Najran with 5 drones. A total of 14 drones were used in the operation. Our armed forces stress that they are capable of carrying out more attacks against the Saudi and Emirate enemies as part of our defense of our land and nation.
A deal has been reached between Sudan's military and civilian leaders to reinstate Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, who was deposed in a coup last month. Military and government officials said on Sunday that government officials and politicians arrested since the October 25 coup will also be released as part of the deal. Hamdok will lead an independent technocratic cabinet, the officials say, adding that the UN, the US and others played crucial roles in crafting the agreement. Sudanese people have been taken to the streets in mass protest since the military takeover, which upended the country's fragile transition to democracy. The new agreement comes just days after doctors said at least 15 people were killed by live fire during anti-coup demonstrations.
The death toll from the ravaging floods across the 4 Rayalaseema districts in Andhra Pradesh rose to 29 on Saturday, with at least 50 people still missing. While 6 people were crushed to death in a house collapse in Anantapura district, 6 more deaths were reported from Chittoor. As many as 17 deaths were reported from the 4 affected districts on Friday, of which 12 fatalities were from Kadapa. The toll is likely to rise as there is no clarity on the fate of those who were washed away in flash floods. Heavy rains triggered by a series of depression in the Bay of Bengal led to the overflowing of rivers and water projects, causing flash floods in Chittoor, Kadapa, Anantapura and Nellore over the last 72 hours.
A terror attack in the old city of Jerusalem, just outside the Temple Mount compound. An assailant with a gun opening fire, seriously wounding 2 people. One of those injured passed away. There are 2 other policemen who were lightly injured by shrapnel. The assailant was shot and killed on the spot.
Nine foreign military aircraft entered South Korea's air defense zone on Friday. According to Seoul's Joint Chiefs of Staff, 2 Chinese and 7 Russian military jets entered Cadiz, northeast of Dokdo, for about 10 minutes before leaving. The military noted none of them violated South Korea's territorial airspace. Through a communication hotline, China explained their aircraft were carrying out a routine military exercise. But Russia, which does not have a hotline with South Korea, has not spoken about the matter. The Russian Defense Ministry later said it was part of their combined exercise and was not targeted at a third country.
There seems to be no relief for the migrants in Mexico. Nearly 2,000 migrants were seen crammed inside the back of a truck in the Veracruz state. The development comes just a day after the Mexican President López Obrador met with U.S. President Joe Biden to address migrant issues. This is the second migrant caravan heading for the United States in a month. The caravan consists of migrants from Central America and Africa. Pregnant women and children are also said to be a part of the caravan. The migrants will be held at the State Attorney General's office until their documents are verified. Nearly 800 people have been granted to stay in Mexico, while others are traveling to the United States border. Around 1.7 million people attempted to enter the United States since October last year.
And in the latest development of the worsening diplomatic ties between the United States and Russia, US Congress members have introduced a resolution to end the United States' recognition of Vladimir Putin as the Russian president if he remains in power after 2024. Congressmen Steve Cohen, Joe Wilson, they brought in the resolution to end the recognition of Putin's presidency after his current term. In their proposed resolution, Cohen and Wilson have called Russia's 2020 constitutional referendum, and I'm quoting here, the most manipulated vote in the country's modern history. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov denounced the US lawmakers' proposal as aggressive meddling in Russia's internal affairs.
Four people were treated for gunshot wounds in Burkina Faso on Saturday after French and Burkinabe forces tried to deter protesters trying to block a French army convoy. Local sources in the town of Kaya, north of the capital, said demonstrators tried to approach French army personnel on the strip of wasteland where they had spent the night. A French soldier denied anybody had been wounded, rejecting any responsibility. The French convoy, which has been held up for nearly a week by protests in the western city of Bobo Dioulasso and in the capital Ouagadougou, is crossing through Burkina Faso on its way from Ivory Coast to Niger. French troops are in the wider region as part of efforts to fight jihadists.